My name is Talira, an adventurer and a hunter in the vast wilderness of the Everin Forest in the land of Jindari. This is my story. The Everin Forest breathes with me, every rustle of leaves a word, every shift of the wind a secret. I know its rhythms, its balance, and when that balance falters, I feel it as keenly as a blade drawn across my skin. Today, it falters. The trails that once thrummed with life fall silent. The deer no longer graze in the glades. Even the foxes skirt the paths where the snares now glimmer faintly, sharp and cruel against the undergrowth. I follow the sound of human voices to the edge of the village. Smoke rises from chimneys, yet the air is heavy with unease. The hunters return empty-handed, their shoulders slumped beneath the weight of failure. Mothers barter for scraps, children pull at skirts, asking for food that may not come. I walk among them unseen, a shadow at the margins, but I hear every word.
They took another stag and left nothing but bones.
If the butcher cannot cut venison, what will we eat when the snows come?
The name of Miles Denner carries across the street, spoken with the kind of desperate hope people cling to when no answers remain. And then he appears, Miles, the butcher. His broad frame fills the doorway of his shop, though his strength cannot mask the hollowness in his eyes. His apron, once marked with the honest stains of work, now hangs heavy and unused. He sees me, and in that moment, I know he has been waiting. He steps forward, his voice low and rough, worn by sleepless nights.
Talira, you've walked this forest longer than any of us have drawn breath. The hunters return with nothing, and the villagers grow restless. They whisper of poachers, ruthless men who take the game before it can even reach the village. My livelihood withers, and worse, if this continues, we will all starve.
I watch him carefully. His jaw is tight, his fists clenched, though they tremble. This is a man who carves through bone with ease, yet here he stands, broken by forces he cannot fight. You ask me, I say, my voice quiet but unyielding, to hunt not beasts, but men. His gaze does not waver.
Yes, hunt them, scare them, drive them out, do what the rest of us cannot.
I let silence stretch between us. The weight of his plea lingers in the air, thick and undeniable. The villagers watch from a distance, their eyes upon me like flickering lanterns in the dark. The poachers have taken more than game. They have stolen trust, hope, balance. I turn my eyes back toward the tree line, where shadows stretch like claws. My choice is already made. The poachers will learn what it means to trespass upon the forest. Night gathers like a hood drawn low over the Everin canopy, and I welcome it. Darkness is a friend to those who respect it. I move where the ground is quiet, where roots braid beneath moss and leaf litter swallows the sound of my steps. The forest speaks in small truths if I listen long enough. A tuft of coarse hair clings to a briar snag, too high for deer. Boar then, driven fast along this game trail, I kneel and press 2 fingers into a shallow oval in the soil. The edge is sharp, fresh. A boar ran hard here within the last hour, turning west to avoid something it scented before I did. I breathe in and taste the air for the metallic bite I have come to expect. Iron. Not the bright tang of a clean blade. The stale, sour drift of blood left where it should not be. Ahead, a branch shows a clean cut, straight, efficient, done with a well-honed knife. Not the casual pass of a wood-gatherer. This cut is for clearing sightlines. I angle to the right, using a fallen log as cover, and study the ground for what matters. Repetition. Patterns. A poacher returns to his work the way a hawk returns to its perch. There. Boot sign. Not the soft, wide press of a villager's turnshoe, but the narrow, deep stamp of a travel boot, with a ridge worn along the outer heel. The owner favors the left leg. He drags it slightly in the mud, leaving a crescent at each step. I measure the stride with my eyes, a cautious pace, broken by quick, purposeful bursts. He stops often, watches often. He knows the risk. Wire glints between ferns, thin, cruel, no thicker than a reed, a snare set at throat height for a deer crossing. I crouch. The trigger knot is tight and neat. The tag end is trimmed short so it won't catch the sun. A careful hand, not a desperate one. I trace the anchor line to a hidden stake driven deep behind a root, quiet, professional. This is not a villager stealing a single meal. This is a trade. I leave the snare uncut. If I spring it now, they will read my hand. Better they think themselves unseen. Further in, I find a gutting site, minimal, efficient. No piles of offal to draw predators, only a thin smear in the soil where they collected waste in a cloth and carried it off. The grass is bent by a tarp's edge, still damp. They butcher where the ground slopes for drainage. They choose places with wind enough to keep flies away. Men who have practiced, men who will not stop because a village goes hungry. I settle into the shadow of a cedar, my back against its rough bark. I slow my breathing. I wait. Voices carry differently at night. Even a whisper has weight. The first I catch is a low murmur, the cadence of someone taking count.
6 straps, 3 hides, tie 'em in pairs so the weight pulls even.
The second voice answers with a grunt, younger, eager to please.
Aye.
I close my eyes, map the sound to their positions. One to the south, overseeing. One to the east, dragging. A third further off, swinging something heavy against a trunk. Maybe a hook, maybe a pot. The clink is honest. Metal has no patience for silence. I rise and circle wide. The ground tells me they use an old hunter's path, widened by repeated use. I skirt it and come in high along a ridge where ferns soften the slope and a windfall creates a blind. From there, I see them through a veil of leaves. 3 men, their fire small and stingy, their camp set behind a thicket that hides it from the main trail. A rack of green branches leans over the coals to smoke meat. Hides hang in careful rows, scraped clean enough to fetch a good price. The poacher in charge, broad through the shoulders, hair tied back with leather, counts bundles on his fingers and checks each knot. He moves like a foreman, not a wanderer. The younger one, soft beard, eyes darting, works fast but looks over his shoulder too often. Fear sits on him like a damp shirt. The third man is thicker through the middle, the kind whose temper flares when his hands are busy and his mind is not.
Keep the cuts neat cells. The butcher in that village will beg when the winter bites. We'll be gone by then.
The younger one lowers his voice.
What if she finds a way? They say there's a ranger here that's very good at what she does.
Stories. Woods are full of them. We have traps in every run and wire in every hedge. Even a ranger bleeds like any creature that trips a snare.
His certainty is a kind of blindness. It will help me. I watch longer than comfort allows. Patience takes its toll, but impatience kills. I count their habits. The leader checks the perimeter himself at the top of each hour. He favors his right knee. There's a stiffness when he crouches. He keeps his quiver close, but not close enough. The younger one cleans blades with care, sets them edge up on a cloth by the log. He will be the first to reach for a weapon because he keeps them ready. The thick-set man eats, then tends the smoking rack, then complains.
We could take the whole herd if not for those village pests. They drive the deer sooner than we can close the gap.
He says, tugging at a strip of meat with his teeth. The leader slips a glance toward the darkness, toward me, unknowingly.
They won't drive anything once the fear sets in. Empty bellies quiet brave tongues. We hold until the first frost, pull stakes, and sell double in the south.
And if someone comes?
Then we leave reminders. People respect reminders.
He taps the haft of a short spear against the ground. I memorize the shape of their camp, the way the firelight fails to reach the hide rack, the small depression behind it where rain collects, the sapling that leans over the rope line, and the path the leader favors when he returns from his rounds. I can use each of these to end this quickly, decisively. I slip away by the same quiet route I took to arrive. I leave no sign of passage and make a long circle to the west. There, in a shallow gully where travelers rarely step, I kneel and pull a length of cord from my pouch. I set 2 harmless trip lines at shin height, no spikes, no pits. Surprise is weight enough when timing is right. I mark them in my mind, invisible to anyone who does not know where to look. When I return to the camp's edge, the air has cooled and the fire collapses into a bed of coals. The leader finishes his perimeter and pauses to rub his knee. The younger man covers the blades with the cloth, satisfied with the shine. The thick-set one stretches and mutters about cramped shoulders. I draw an arrow, but do not nock it. Not yet. My thumb rests against the fletching, a promise to myself. My breath is steady. I ease closer, one slow step at a time, until the pine's low branches curtain me a few paces from their circle. From here, my words will carry without shouting, and their reactions will be honest. The leader speaks again, voice measured, almost gentle.
We'll take turns sleeping. You'll take the first watch.
He says to the younger one.
Keep your ears open and your hands off that knife, unless you mean to use it.
Aye.
The younger man forces a tight smile. He does not want this. He wants coin and lacks the stomach for the cost. I file that truth away. I straighten, a shadow separating from the tree. The forest goes still around us in the way it does when attention gathers. This forest is not yours to bleed, I say, my voice low, even and unshaken. 3 heads snap toward me. The leader's hand goes to the spear. The younger man's fingers hover above the cloth where his knives lie gleaming. The thick-set man pushes to his feet, jaw set. I let my bow rise, not to fire, but to be seen. You take what sustains a village. You cut the lines that hold this place together. You will stop. You will gather your traps. You will leave before dawn. The thick-set man snorts.
You hear that, chaps? She gives orders like she owns the forest. Ha!
Maybe we should...
Quiet!
The leader snaps. His eyes never leave mine. He measures distance, tools, will.
We're not thieves. We're tradesmen. We go where the coin is. The deer are plentiful here. You best leave us now, or something unfortunate will happen to you.
Not in the winter season, I answer. Not when you have stripped the woods of what they need to last. This isn't trade. It's hunger, sold to the highest bidder.
You think your single, insignificant voice can drown out our profits?
I don't need to drown it. I will end it here and now.
You can try.
The moment lengthens until it cannot bear its own weight. I feel it break like thin ice under a boot heel. The decision is made, not by words, but by stances, by glances, by the glint of a blade half an inch higher than it was a breath ago. I let the arrow kiss the string. The clash is coming, and I am ready. They never stood a chance. My first arrow strikes true, burying itself in the leader's forehead. His spear slips from his grasp as shock ripples across his face. Then, with a final stagger, he collapses lifeless to the ground. The heavier man barrels toward me, short sword flashing in the firelight. I abandon my bow in an instant, steel sliding free into my grip. Our blades meet with a vicious clang, sparks leaping as he strains against me, his face twisted, teeth gritted, a groan tearing from his throat as he forces untrained muscles into the fray. He thrusts again and again, wild, clumsy jabs that hiss past me, missing by a breath. I duck low, spin with the motion, and drive my short sword home. The blade pierces his chest, his eyes go wide, horror etched across his face. A wet gurgle escapes his lips as blood streams down, staining his tunic, and he staggers before crashing lifeless to the ground. Silence falls. Then the sharp crackle of rustling leaves. My head snaps toward the sound. The younger poacher is already scrambling through the brush, desperate to flee into the night. I follow in pursuit, switching my short sword with my trusty bow with an arrow at the ready. I rise from the shadows and follow. My breath is steady, my steps silent. He thrashes like prey cornered in its own snare. The forest knows the difference between hunter and hunted, and tonight it favors me. The moon filters weakly through the canopy, painting silver bars across his path. I catch glimpses of him, wild eyes darting back, teeth bared in terror. He stumbles, then pushes on, gasping.
Spare me! I only did as I was told.
His words scatter behind him like frightened birds. He begs the air, but not me. Not yet. I press closer, each step measured, each movement a vow. The bow in my hand hums with intent, the string taut as my will. He veers toward a thicket, perhaps thinking the brambles will shield him. But the forest bends to no thief's will. A root rises where he least expects it. He stumbles, nearly falls, and I close the distance. My arrow finds its mark, not flesh, but earth before his feet. The shaft quivers in the soil, a warning. He freezes, panting. I see the sweat glisten along his jaw, the tremor of his hands as he fumbles for the dagger at his belt.
Don't. I will fight if I must.
I step forward, the shadows clinging to me like a cloak. Fight? You know nothing of fighting when the forest itself denies you escape. His breath hitches, his eyes dart wildly, searching for a path, any path, but there is none. And then it happens. In his panic, he stumbles into the very thing he sought to inflict on others. A hidden snare, teeth of iron snapping shut around his leg. His scream tears through the night, raw and desperate. He collapses, clutching at the trap, blood already seeping where the steel bites. His dagger falls from his grasp, forgotten.
Please, I was forced into this. The others, they made me. I didn't want to do this. I swear it.
He whimpers, trying to pull free, but the trap holds him as tightly as judgment. His pleas fade into broken sobs, swallowed by the trees. I left him there to reflect on what he's done and to let the forest around him decide his fate. I turn away and disappear into the darkness. I feel the forest breathe once more. Balance has been restored. Dawn breaks slowly across the forest, washing the canopy in pale gold. The shadows of the night retreat, but I carry them with me. My quiver is lighter, my steps heavier. Behind me lies a broken campfire, scattered hides, and the silence of men who will poach no more. I return with what remains: venison, stripped hides, meat enough to prove the forest's bounty has not abandoned us, only been stolen. The weight across my shoulders is not a burden, but a message. The Wenfell village stirs as I cross its threshold. Smoke curls from chimneys. Doors creak open, yet every gaze fixes upon me. The hunters pause, longbows half-strung. Children grip their mother's skirts, their eyes wide. They see the blood on the hides. They see the truth in my silence. And then Miles steps forward. The butcher's apron hangs across his chest once more, though it is worn and faded. His face is drawn with exhaustion, yet when his eyes find mine, I see something spark anew. Relief, fragile but real.
By the gods, Talira, you've done it.
He reaches for the venison, his hands trembling not from fear, but from hope restored.
You've saved my trade, but much more than that. You've saved this village from hunger.
The crowd gathers close, murmurs swelling like a tide.
Is it true the poachers are gone?
Will the hunters return to the forest?
Another asks, voice edged with disbelief. Miles straightens, his voice stronger now, as though my presence lends him steel.
Aye, thanks to her, the hunt is ours again. We will not starve. The forest provides, as it always has.
A ripple passes through the villagers, relief first, then gratitude. Some bow their heads, others clasp each other's shoulders. A child's laughter breaks through, pure and sharp, scattering the heaviness of despair.
We are in your debt, Talira. Whatever you ask, it is yours.
I shake my head. The forest asks no debt, only respect. Remember this day, not for me, but for the lesson it brings. The villagers fall silent, their eyes upon me, and in that quiet, I feel the weight of their understanding. I turn then, my gaze lifting to the tree line where the Everin forest waits. Its shadows call to me, its whispers urging me back to the watch I cannot abandon. Debt means little to me, oaths less still. What matters is the forest, the heart that beats beyond the reach of stone walls and smoke. What matters is balance. As I step away, leaving the village to its life and laughter, I allow myself one final thought. The hunters may return. The butcher may carve his meats. The children may eat. And the forest, well, the forest remains mine to protect.